We have a new moon coming up on August 27th in the sign of Virgo. Let's get into it. Okay folks, welcome back to my channel. If you've been enjoying my content, please hit like on this video and make sure to subscribe and hit yes to the notifications. First, what's happening in this new moon in Virgo? Some data. The new moon is in Virgo in a trine with Mars in Gemini, which is in a trine with Mercury in Libra. Venus is in Leo, encountering Saturn in Aquarius in a strong opposition, while also squaring Uranus and the North Node in Taurus. Stick with me, I'm going to make this really simple. I'll get into what all this means and how to use it to manifest in just a second. I'm going to take all the hard work out of it for you too. Okay, so real quick, some info about the new moon. The new moon is what happens when the sun and the moon slide into the same degree in the sky so that you have the moon and the sun together in a conjunction. If you go outside during a new moon at night, you're not going to see the moon because the moon is under the horizon with the sun. If you go out during the day, you're also probably not going to see it because the sun is shining so brightly and the moon is so close to the sun that usually you can't see the moon during the day either. This happens a little less than once a month, just like the full moon. I'm going to give you a secret in just a moment that will help you use this information to manifest the life that you want. In order to get an understanding of how this works, let's first get a really clear idea of what energy the moon brings with it and why. On a collective level, the sun represents our waking consciousness and the moon represents our subconscious. Another way of putting this is that the sun represents our ego, who we think we are and what we think that we want, while our moon represents our more authentic, underlying true nature. So at the new moon, our subconscious, the moon, and our conscious, the part of ourselves that we identify with as ourselves, are in alignment for once, and it gives us an opportunity to have a lot more power to manifest our reality because we're making contact with the part of ourselves that actually has that power. Okay, so this explains a couple things about the new moon. For one, the new moon is a time that we are going inside and making contact with our subconscious. So the new moon is not going to have the same amount of activity and external, like, crazy manifestations that the full moon has a reputation for being. It's more of a time for us to go inward and to make contact with ourselves. Second of all, it does explain why the new moon is associated with Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft, because witchcraft is a tool which can be used to manifest our reality. And in doing so, we have to work with the subconscious. So the darkness associated with the dark moon and associated with witchcraft and with Hecate doesn't have to do with like a moral evil. It more has to do with the fact that our subconscious is kind of a cloaked part of ourselves. Okay, whether you're a witch or not, you are constantly creating your reality with your subconscious. At the new moon, you have an opportunity to do that intentionally. Okay, so how can you use the new moon to manifest? There is a law of Hermes that states that we cannot observe the activity of the planets without interacting with them and inevitably altering their behavior. Therefore, when you're looking up your horoscope, you aren't just getting insight into what is going to happen, but you're actually helping to shape those things and bring them into reality by accepting those interpretations for yourself. Okay, so here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to give the interpretation for the new moon in Virgo and the aspects that are happening along with it for the collective first, and then second of all, I'm going to give a specific one for your rising sign, which I'll timestamp below. What I want you to do is, as you're listening to my video, if you hear something that does not align with what you want to happen, I want you to imagine it dissolving in your head, and you can say to yourself, that is not true for me. When you hear an interpretation that you do like and you want to happen for yourself, I want you to affirm it and help manifest it by saying, yes, I accept. This method works because astrology is a symbolic language. So there's a variety of ways that the planets can manifest and express their symbolism. And by choosing what it is that we want to manifest, we can often alter the outcome. So even though we have the power to alter the behavior of the planets and their particular expressions, the innate symbolism of the planet will always be expressed. That is why it can be so helpful to work with astrology to manifest what you want. Okay, so keeping that in mind, here's the reading for the collective. First, watch this part and say, yes, I accept, or no, that isn't true for me. And then make sure to check out the part for your rising sign. And if you're completely energized by this process and enjoying it, I also encourage you to check out the section for your moon sign and also for your sun sign. I do recommend that you also write in the comment box below what it is that you affirm to be true for yourself and to accept. That way you can go back later and reference it when you're figuring out how things played out. Okay, so here's the reading for the collective. The new moon is happening in Virgo. Virgo is the sign of the human body. So the issue of the human body is coming to the forefront of our minds and our attention as a collective. It's also giving us the opportunity to have a new perspective and a new relationship when it comes to the human body. There's so many things in our society that has given us this toxic relationship with our bodies. And that's really what this new moon is kind of like drawing attention to. We do have Venus in Leo at this time, and it's kind of talking about relationships that are in the spotlight and also women's issues and also self-love issues. And it's in opposition with Saturn, and Saturn is in Aquarius, so this has to do with the laws and the structures of our society. So also what's happening right now is there's a square from Uranus in Taurus, and also Mercury is in Libra. So it's like our mind and the media is being drawn to these issues, these topics of relationships and how people express themselves in relationships and people's relationships to their bodies and how those things come into conflict with the structures and the rules, whether those are legal rules or just social expectations within our society. These things are clashing and they're coming to the attention of the collective, and we're having to like deal with them as like, what do we actually think about this, and what are we actually going to like accept moving forward? Because Uranus here is asking us to like move forward. Like we really need to move forward in our like collective perspective here. Like there's a lot of outdated ideas that Uranus is trying to like kick out the back door, you know? So it's kind of like these things that I would expect to come to the forefront of media and news at this time would be things about like body positivity. Like what is it that we are like, you know, maybe somebody is expressing self-love about themselves in a way that is countercultural, right? So that is like I said, body positivity could come to the forefront. The issue of women's bodies and their autonomy. Leo talks about autonomy and how it comes into conflict with the laws of society that are trying to like govern and control a woman's body. There may be like taboo relationships that are coming up at this time as well. So it's kind of like maybe you have somebody, maybe you have issues of rape, maybe you have issues of like people who are dating that are really far apart in age, and there's kind of like a skepticism about that. You could be having people come out as gay, people come out as queer. Like there's all sorts of things that people are coming out about their identity that has to do with their body, that is countercultural. And it's really pushing us to analyze these issues and really to encouraging us to like let go of some things that we don't really need to hold on to anymore. So pay attention to that. That's kind of what's going on collectively. So if you are paying attention to the news and media at this time, also I really want to encourage you to be gentle and kind to yourself, because with this new moon being in Virgo, there is a high susceptibility of your body to like absorb the stress of this information and to really cause you to feel sick if you are not careful and if you're not gentle with yourself. So please, 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 please pay attention to your body, because the new moon is in Virgo. The subconscious will use your own body to express to you where you are at. So if you're hearing news and you're having this stress reaction in your body, your subconscious is trying to tell you like, hey, you're not really like, you're not healed about the situation. You're not ready to like absorb this. Please take a step back, cut yourself a break, turn off the radio, whatever it is that you need to do. Give yourself a bath, massage, do some stretches, breathing exercises, whatever it is that you need to do to take care of you. Please make sure that you're doing it during this new moon. Okay. Aries rising. What's going on for you with this new moon? The new moon is taking place in Virgo, which is your 6th house of day-to-day work. It's also your house of habits and also your house of health. So something new is beginning. It's like this little seed that's being planted, that's kind of starting the way for something new to occur in this area of your life. I do feel like this has to do with one of two things. One is going to be your body and the health habits that you have, or two, it's going to be about work and what you do for work. Either way, your relationship with yourself is changing and your value system is changing. So the big way that that is like impacting you is that your relationship to your body is changing, and the way you act with it and the way that you appreciate it and the way that you take care of it, because you are learning to value yourself higher than you have in the past, and you're recognizing like all the things that are good about you and all the things that you have to offer. So a potential way that this could be manifested is a shift in what it is that you actually want to do for money. So this is not an action time. I want to like put that out there. This is not necessarily like the time for you to be like making a big change, though that could come up quite quickly. At this time is really the time to like think about these things and ponder these things and focus on what it is that's important to you and what it is that you value about yourself, and building up that relationship to your body in a healthier way, so that you have a healthy mindset and that your habits are reflecting the value system of honoring yourself and taking care of yourself. So what else is going on at this time? So Venus is in your 5th house. That has to do with children and people you're dating. There is somebody in your life that is challenging to the groups that you have associated yourself with in the past. So whether this is like a club that you're a part of, or whether this is a group that you actually associate with from work, or whether you're part of a church or any other kind of organization or group identity, the rules and the values and the structures of that group is being challenged by somebody in your life, possibly a child, possibly somebody that you're dating. This person is also challenging these new ideas that you have about what it is that you potentially want to do for work, and also your shifting value system. So I want you to like use this as an opportunity to really like listen to the things that the person is saying and weigh those things for yourself. So don't let yourself be like threatened by this other person's opinion. Just, take what they're saying with a grain of salt. Maybe it's for you, maybe it's not for you. It's challenging both Uranus, which is like progressive new ideas, and is challenging Saturn, which has to do with like old structures. So they might have conflicting advice and conflicting opinions. But they may be able to put together things that you haven't put together in the past, because in your mind, the two things that they're saying, or the two directions that they're going with, the things that they are challenging may seem like contrary to you, but this person may be tying them together in a new way that you hadn't actually thought about before. So listen to that person, don't be threatened by them, hear what it is that they have to say, and weigh, is it true for me, is it not true for me? Evaluate and check in with yourself at this time about all these issues. Taurus rising. What are you guys up to? Because it sounds like you're getting pregnant. I just gotta have to say, because this new moon is happening in your 5th house of children. Okay, it could also be that you started dating somebody new, but I was thinking children because Venus is in your 4th house, which has to do with the home, which has to do with the mother, and it's opposing your 10th house, which has to do with your career. So something is happening, something new is being birthed. You probably aren't able to see it yet because it is a new moon. So it's just kind of like something that's just seed has been planted, it's putting there. I gotta warn you, it may take a few days for you to like see what this actually is. So possibly you're getting pregnant at this time, but you don't actually find out that you're pregnant at this time until a little bit later. Something like along those lines, right? Like you may start seeing somebody that you didn't really know is going to be like a serious relationship until you look back and you're like, oh yeah, we did start talking around this, new moon time. Whatever it is, something is happening in your 5th house of dating and children, and it is challenging. It will be challenging your career and also your home life. Okay, so I gotta say, Uranus is in your 1st house, which has to do with your life perspectives. So everything about the way that you have viewed the world is really being completely radically changed at this time. Uranus is going to be in your 1st house. It's about like a 7-year transit. So just to give you like some context, it's not going to be like, boom, this is happening like right at this new moon. This is something that has been going on for a few years, and it's going to go on for a few other years. There's this like major shift that's happening in your life perspective. And there is going to be a new person, a new relationship, whether that's a child or whether that's a person you're dating, and they're going to be, challenging your career and also bringing up issues of relationships to your past and to your family life at this time. Good luck, you guys. I hope they're a good one. They sound like they're going to be really challenging. So, yeah, but I mean, it is, Venus. So if you are pregnant, it's probably a girl. It's possible too that maybe you identify as a woman and all of a sudden you're experiencing that you're attracted to a woman, and this is what's really challenging your perspective. Just throwing it out there. Could be. Okay, Gemini rising, what's going on for you? So this new moon in Virgo is in your 4th house of home. One of two things could be going on at this time. One, you could be welcoming a new family member into your home, or a new person is joining your family. The other thing that can happen is that you are moving. So you're actually being moved to a different home location. Either way, congratulations, and I hope everything goes very smoothly for you. You do have a couple other things going on in the sky during this new moon. One is that Mars has just entered your 1st house. So I do want to talk to you a little bit about what Mars in the 1st house can feel like. About 6 months ago, Mars transited my 1st house. And so I got to experience, for me, it was like a very radical sort of experience. And I just wanted to like share what that can feel like, especially because Mars is going to be in your 1st house for the remainder of the year. So before Mars enters your 1st house, Mars will be in your 12th house. When Mars is in your 12th house, you can feel very lethargic. It's kind of like your own energy is not very accessible to you. So you may just feel like really tired and like you don't have motivation to do things. And then when Mars enters your 1st house, it's like all of a sudden you're like ready to go. So we will have the energy for the things that you want to do. I do want to caution you, if Mars can become overzealous here so that you do not get injured, make sure that you are taking good care of yourself and balancing out this high amount of energy so that you don't become too inflamed, that you have creative expression for this, such as exercise. Make sure you're also balancing that out with stretching. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water, because you will have an increase of activity, so you will need more water, you will need rest. Soothing, cooling things will also be helpful to you. If you experience a lot of rage during this transit, which I did, make sure that you have a healthy outlet to express those feelings, because the best way to get those feelings out of your system is to express them and flesh them and not judge them at all. Yes, so Mars is the ruler of your 6th house of work. So I also just want to caution you that 2 things. One, this energy could give you a lot of energy for work, which could be helpful. But the other thing too is that if you get an injury, it most likely would be an injury at work. So there is that. You do have Venus transiting your 2nd house, which is the things that you do for money. This is your personal resources. So Venus can really attract a lot of money into your life during Venus's transit here. One thing to be aware of too is sometimes Venus in the 2nd house can make you actually spend money on like luxurious things. Venus likes to spend money. So that's okay. Just make sure that you're not spending like above your means. but it is an opportunity for you to spend money on yourself because Leo is the sign that Venus is transiting. And so this is a good time to just spend a little bit of money on pampering yourself and attending to the things that make you feel good about who you are. Okay, Cancer rising. The new moon in Virgo is happening in your 3rd house of communication. Mars has just entered your 12th house, and the effect of that is that you are having a huge increase in mental activity and energy being devoted to you paying attention to things that are going on inside your own mind. I'm also feeling that you are really hiding and masking like a lot of anger and a lot of energy right now. You do have Venus transiting your 2nd house. This has to do with your resources, with your money, and also Mercury has just gone into Libra. And basically all this is coming together, and what it looks like to me is that you are really choosing very carefully the words that you're saying, and you're trying to be very diplomatic and very likable, especially with family members and with the people that you work with, because you are trying to be very strategic about some goals that you have. Uranus is transiting your 11th house of hopes, dreams, and wishes. And so the things that you are wanting for your own life are going through a 7-year phase of radically changing, to which you're about 3 years into. So because the things that you're wanting are changing, and they may not be the things that you've already put a lot of work into working towards at this time. So it's kind of like, because you have these like new goals, you are trying to go about it delicately, and you're thinking a lot in your head about it, and you are just trying to keep as many like doors open to you as possible and keep as many relationships like on good terms as possible, because you're not really sure like what you're going to be needing in the future in order to achieve what it is that you want to achieve. So a lot of thinking. I do hear a precaution for you, which is not to brew too long. It's kind of like I was hearing the word brewing and imagining like a pot of water boiling, and it has like potatoes in it, and it's like you got to boil the potato until the potato is fork tender. But if you continue to boil the potatoes for too long after that, it's just going to turn into a pot of mush, and nobody really wants to eat a pot of mush. Is that the truth is that you are in a lot of relationships that are receptive to hearing what it is that you have to say and what it is that you want, and you know, maybe possibly what goals and dreams and ambitions and boundaries are important to you. So you do actually have people in your life that are willing to hear that. So I just encourage you to think about what it is that you want, but don't spend too long like stewing on it. Put your words out there and speak your truth. Okay, Leo rising. Your career is kind of at the forefront right now with Uranus and the North Node being in your 10th house of career. Mars just entered into your 11th house of hopes, dreams, wishes, and aspirations, and Mars is going to be there for a few months. So take advantage of that. Basically what it's doing is it's giving you like this driving power to achieve your goals. Also, Venus just entered your 1st house in Leo. This is giving you an advantage because whenever Venus is in the 1st house, this makes you particularly magnetic and attractive to the people around you. Venus is opposing Saturn in your 7th house. So what I want to point out here is that there may feel like there has been a huge barrier between you and significant others, or just how you relate to other people in your life. There has felt like for a while, like a long time, that there is a barrier between you and others that seems sort of unbreachable. And with Venus coming into opposition here, this is a really good opportunity for you to try and mend relationships and try and actually become closer to other people in a way that you haven't in the past. Venus brings things together and really heals and harmonizes things. So you do have this opportunity at this time to do it. If you resist the opportunity, there may be a clash or an argument or a collision between you and somebody, because this is an opposition. So when we don't lean into an opposition and recognize what the opposition is really like there to teach us and to balance out, then it can feel like we're at war with somebody else. So Mercury also just entered Libra, and the new moon is happening in your 2nd house, which has to do with resources and things that you own and things that you value and your own money. So there is a new beginning in your own money. So it's very exciting because very soon you could be coming into a new source of income, a new income stream. Somebody may be investing in you. Somebody may be, you may be getting a new job. You may have things that are shifting in your, what I'm hearing is that you're receiving something new when it comes to things that you possess and things that you own. So you may actually be gifted a new thing because Mercury is in your fourth house. You may be gifted that from a family member or from somebody from your past. It may be from your parents. So this is putting you in a good position to receive gifts. And with Venus in Libra, it is also helping you to speak whatever it is that you need to communicate with the other people, going back to the Venus-Saturn opposition in your seventh house of other relationships, bringing yourself together with other people in a way you haven't before. With Venus being in Libra, it's giving you the grace to speak what it is that you have to say in a loving manner that is going to be very well received by the people that you have to share information with and share things about yourself with. So take this opportunity. Mercury travels pretty fast. So yes, capitalize on the communication that you are having with others around you at this time and use it to increase your level of intimacy. Okay, Virgo rising. Okay, happy birthday, Virgo rising. Why do I say happy birthday? It's not actually your birthday, unless it is, but because the new moon is happening in Virgo, and Virgo is your rising sign, and to have a new moon there, it's like the birth of something new. So it's kind of talking about like a new birth that is happening for you inside of your own mind and heart and body. And so that's why I say happy birthday, congratulations. So what is going on with this new moon in your first house? You do have Mercury has just entered your second house, which has to do with the things that you do for money and the value system that you currently have. We also have Venus. Oh, shoot. Venus. Oh, yes. The Venus is in Leo, which is your 12th house. And it's like you are finding things that you absolutely love to do, but they are not visible. And you do have Mars that has just went into Gemini in your 10th house of career and visibility. And so I'm sensing this frustration coming from you. Venus is in opposition to Saturn in your 6th house of day-to-day work and things that you have to do. It's like you are very frustrated right now because you do not feel visible. You do not feel like you are like where you want to be right now when it comes to your career and it comes to what you're known for. And it can be very frustrating and overwhelming with Uranus in your 9th house. So it's kind of like you have to like learn new skills at this time too. I have to encourage you that with Mars in your 10th house of career, Mars is going to be there for several months. It's giving you the opportunity, it's giving you the energy to really focus on changing your career and changing the way that people see you. And I do have to tell you, Virgo rising, that these things are not going to change themselves. So when I was looking at the chart for you when it comes to you being a Virgo rising and where all the planets are right now, what I really was hearing was like just that it's going to take a lot of like initiative from you. And I know that that can be very difficult for Virgo rising to take initiative because a lot of the time you guys are responders. You are able to see things and respond to things that need to be, you sit back, you're the hermit. You sit back and you analyze things and you see what could be done better or what could be fixed, and you jump in and you want to fix those things. So you generally take action in response to what's going on around you. And I will have to tell you that if you're wanting to become more visible and if you're wanting to change your career in these ways, you cannot wait for somebody to you cannot sit back and wait for somebody to give you an opportunity. You have to take initiative. You have to step out of your comfort zone and you have to do things differently than you've been doing them in the past. And I really do feel like that's what this new moon is about for you guys, because it's happening in the first house of self. And when things happen in the first house of self, what it means is that it's on you. You have to be the one to take the action. Otherwise, nobody is going, it's not going to happen unless you do something. Okay, Libra rising. So Mercury just entered your first house in Libra, and this new moon is taking place in your 12th house, which has to do with the place that we go to be alone. What I'm seeing a lot from here, from this for you guys, is that now is a time where you are going inward and you're doing a lot of thinking and analyzing. Mars also just entered Gemini, which is a very cerebral, like mentally focused sign. And this is in your 9th house of learning. So Mars will be here for a few months. And this is giving you an opportunity. This may be a good opportunity for you guys to go back to school or to learn something that you have been wanting to learn for some time, because you're going to have the energy to do that over the next few months. So there is that going on. There's just so much mental activity. And when I was looking at where that mental activity is going on, it has to do with not only your perceptions, but your perceptions about relationships in your life. So your opinions may be changing, or you may be doing a lot of analyzing about the people around you. Venus is in your 11th house, which has to do with your friends and your groups that you identify with. And it's moving into an opposition with Saturn, which is in your 5th house. So there is a little bit of a conflict happening at this time. It's going to be kind of brief, so don't worry about it too much, but where somebody in your friend group, possibly, most probably a woman, but a person that you are in a relationship with from your friend group, is kind of positioning themselves like against something from your 5th house. So it could be that they're touching on a sensitive point. If you're wanting to have children and you haven't been able to have children, this person may be like talking about that in a way that kind of like bothers you a little bit. Or they could also be just saying like, saying things that you're realizing is not really like effective or helpful to your child if you already have children. Or there may be like a creative project that you feel a little bit stuck on, and there's somebody kind of like stepping on it, like. But there also could be very much like, even if it bothers you, motivating you to push yourself into this area that has been really hard for you. With Saturn in the 5th house, it's kind of like there's so many ways that this could be manifested, but it's like a creative block. So if there's some things that you have been really like passionate about, and it just really feels like when you go to do those things that there isn't like a lot of energy for that, or like you keep coming into like issue after issue, or for some reason you believe that you can't do the things that are actually like exciting to you creatively, I want to encourage you that Saturn, wherever Saturn is in our chart, it's asking us to face the patterns that we have built up for ourselves in the past, and it's asking us to work on this area. So it's kind of like saying, if there's something creative that you're wanting to work on, it's not going to happen without a lot of work. So I just have to like let you know that it's not that you can't do those things, it's that you might have to attempt them differently than you've tried in the past. And it is going to require a lot of dedication and a lot of time and a lot of work for you to make those things happen. So that may be one thing that your friend is like kind of trying to point out to you. And if that is the case, then, try and set your ego aside and like listen to them, because they're probably giving you good advice that is just maybe hard to hear, but it's actually going to help you. Okay, Scorpio rising. So this new moon is happening in your 11th house of hopes, dreams, wishes, aspirations, and also friendships. You may be receiving a new friendship at this time. So the start of a new relationship with a friend. And also you may be, this person may be, or this could be a different person, becoming a business partner with you, because you do have Venus entering the 10th house in Leo and making you more attractive and more visible and giving you a lot of success and a lot of people liking you and liking what they see about the work that you're doing. So you're receiving an extra amount of attention for what you're doing with work, and you're also receiving a lot of like positive attention. Like people are being very attracted to what it is that you're doing, and you kind of have this like extra little like a glittery time which is awesome. Why is this happening? It's partly happening because of another person who is helping you. Venus rules your 7th house of partnerships, and it also rules your 12th house, and the 12th house has to do with where we go to be alone. But little known fact, the 12th house also has to do with our spirit allies and our spirit guides and our ancestors and our dreams. And basically like it's this window, this door to the other worlds that we're receiving help from. So somebody from the other side is probably the one that is helping you with having more success in your business, and making you more visible and more attractive. So congratulations on that. You do also have Mars as beginning to transit your 8th house. This has to do with transformation and also other people's resources and money. So things may be changing for you financially, because this is the house of other people's money, and because you were receiving help with your business, it's highly likely that these things are connected, meaning that somebody is investing or partnering with you when it comes to business related matters. This could be very transformative. Mars is going to be in your 8th house of transformations and other people's money for the next few months. So it's giving you a lot of energy in this department, and there's an opportunity for some big changes to happen when it comes to your life over the next few months. Okay, Sagittarius rising, what do we got going on for you? So this new moon is happening in your 10th house. This has to do with careers, but it also has to do with your public reputation and your status in the world. And I think this is significant because Mars has just entered into your 7th house of significant others. And what can happen with Mars being like opposing your ascended sign, and it will be here for the next few months, is there's a lot of opportunity here for conflict and for you to feel like people, specifically significant relationships in your life, that these people are kind of coming against you and challenging you. This is giving you pause. You do have Mercury just entering into Libra, which also is a sign that has to do with balance and has to do with relationships in your 11th house. So it's kind of like, it's giving you pause. It's making you sort of want to analyze, like, if this is a relationship that you see being for you in your future, with the 11th house having to do with hopes, dreams, and aspirations for the future and what your like long-term goals are. So it's kind of like you are experiencing some opposition and some conflict over the next few months when it comes to like the significant relationships that you have, and it's making you question whether those people are really the right people for you long-term. Venus is in Leo, just entered into Leo, and that is in your 9th house. So with having Leo as your 9th house, the 9th house has to do with, it's called the house of God, and it's the house of expansion. It's where we personally grow to like learn and expand and become more than what we are. So this is also this sign also rules, or this house also rules long distance travel and also higher education. So this is because you have Leo here, and Leo is the sign of the self. What it means is that your key to higher learning is through self-knowledge. So what I want you to do with this is, as you're given like a new opportunity with this new moon to kind of step out in a different persona and have like a different representation of yourself in the public eye. This is kind of what is being suggested to you with this new moon. I want you to spend the next few months, because the energies I'm talking about are going to be present for the next few months, and notice when the conflict does arise between you and other people, what is that teaching you about yourself? Because with Venus here in Leo, it's giving you the grace to harmonize this information into self-knowledge so that you'll be able to mentally make those decisions of, who do I see going with me in the future? Or if I'm having these conflicts, is this because of some things about myself that I can learn and that I can grow through? And maybe is this a person then that I can do that with? And really experimenting with that idea and playing around with it. So it's not just a simple matter of, is this person toxic or is it not? It's a matter of like, what is this like conflict? What is this saying about who I am, and what opportunities is that giving me to experiment with? Is this person compatible with these things that I'm learning, and is this a helpful relationship to me? And you can kind of experiment and play around and come up with answers for yourself. Like I said, this will be going on for the next few months, so just something to think about. Sagittarius rising. Okay, Capricorn rising. The new moon in Virgo is happening in your 9th house. What does this mean for you? Virgo has to do with our bodies, and the 9th house has to do with learning and knowledge. I want you to think back to the collective reading and the beginning of this, where I'm talking about the subconscious represented by the moon coming in contact with our consciousness, which is the sun, and these things coming together. So how is the subconscious, how is your higher self, your deeper self, how is the other side, your spirit allies, God, etc., speaking to you at this time? It's actually going to be through your body. So I really want you to pay attention to the somatic sensations that you're experiencing in your body, because these are going to be huge, 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 huge messages and clues that are going to then like speak to you and prompt your consciousness. And this is an opportunity for you to learn more about your own body and about how your body processes work and what your body needs. And really, this is an opportunity to give your body a new voice and a new role in the relationship that you have not like allowed your body to have in the past. What else is going on for you at this time? So you have Saturn in your 2nd house of resources and money. It's been difficult for you for a while to really like grow and expand your own like financial independence and resources. I do want to encourage you, because Venus has just entered your 8th house in Leo, which has to do with other people's money and resources. So what that is doing is that it's attracting money towards your shared resources. So there is an opportunity with this transit of Venus being in your 8th house, that although you're having a difficult time making money for yourself, there is going to be money coming to you through through other relationships, like partners, through inheritance, through tax returns, through any sort of like unexpected, even like student loans, really like any type of money that is coming to you from another source other than the things that you do for work. So you do have that coming to you, I will say, and that's a good thing. You do have Mars beginning to transit your 6th house, and this has to do with work. This is like this is the house of service. It's the things that we do out of necessity. And Mars is going to be here for quite a good amount of time, mostly for the rest of the year. Mars is going to be here. So I do want to prepare you that you're going to be having to put in like a lot of work, and make sure that the things that you're putting your effort into, because Mars is going to be bringing this drive to the workplace. Make sure that the things that you're putting all this work and effort into, the things that you're working on, are the things that matter to you, because you will have a lot of energy to do these things. So make sure that you're the one that's getting the return on that investment of all the hard work that you're doing. What else? Okay, so Mercury is in Libra, which is your 10th house, and it's in a trine with Uranus in Taurus, which I believe is your 5th house. Yes, your 5th house. Okay, you are thinking about creative projects. Your mind is not really like at work right now, even though you're putting in all this effort at work and you're putting in all this driving force. Your mind is actually more on other topics, such as relationships, creative projects, children, these types of things. And that's okay. Just, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Aquarius rising. Okay, so I know I said this about you guys at the last video, but I'm picking up on it again. And it is just that there's this huge focus for you guys right now when it comes to sex and sexuality. What is going on? So the new moon is happening in the 8th house. The 8th house has to do with where our resources get all messy and intertwined with other people's resources. So it could be that you are at this time kind of like making a decision to go in with somebody else when it comes to an investment, or it could be that some new source of income is coming to you through the relationships that you have with other people. So for example, your partner is getting a raise, or you're getting a payout in some way that is like coming to you, but it's not through the things that you specifically do for money. It has to do with other people's investments and relationships with you. So that is kind of what this new moon is about. What else is going on for you though? And I really do feel like this 8th house also has to do with sex and transformation, and where we melt together with other people, because what is happening is that Venus is transiting your 7th house of partnerships and relationships with others, and it is forming an opposition to Saturn, which is in your 1st house. What this is saying to me, oh, you also have Mars going through your 5th house of dating and sexuality, and it's going to be there for the next few months. Plus you have Mercury in Libra, so it's kind of like your mind is on relationships. It's saying that there is somebody coming to you. This is your Venus in the 7th house, okay? And this person is like coming at you, and it's with this energy of Venus, which is very much like wanting to come together with you, wanting to mesh with you, wanting to get to know you, and wanting to like open up lines of communication and be intimate, and they're very attracted to you and they're very into you. And I'm just seeing you guys just kind of be like, whoa, 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 like boundaries. I mean, you have Saturn transiting your 1st house, and that's what Venus is putting itself into an opposition with, and plus your rising sign is ruled by Saturn. So it's kind of like you guys have like some boundaries here and some restrictions when it comes to people's access to you. And I'm not trying to like change that about you, but I am saying that this Venus transit, this Venus opposition that's happening with this new moon, is it's really like challenging. It's challenging that part of you, and it's giving you an opportunity to open up in a way that you haven't really opened up in the past. So whether or not you choose to open up to this person who is embodying this transit for you or not, I hope it gives you pause to think about how you actually want to open up or communicate with people in the future when you do find the right person. And I want to tell you, like, I'm getting the sense that you've been pushing people off for quite some time. So just have a think about that. Mars going through your 5th house of dating, it's going to give you like an increase in possibly your desire to have encounters with other people. So this is just going to accelerate the interest in this part of your life. Yes. Yeah. Pisces rising. Okay, this new moon is happening in your 7th house. That has to do with your relationships to other people. There's a lot going on for you this year in general because Jupiter's transiting your 2nd house. This has to do with the things that you do for money and also your own personal finances. Also, Mars is entering into your 4th house of home and the family of origin. Also, oh shoot. Sorry. Also, Venus is entering Leo and is transiting your 6th house of day-to-day work. So what is happening for you guys? There's a shift in your relationships with other people that's happening right now because this is the 7th house of your relationships with others. This can be a new relationship that is just now blossoming, but I'm also getting the sense that this is a change in the fundamental way that you interact with other people. Why am I saying this? Venus in your 6th house of work is trying to draw attention to you and the things that you're doing with work. Also, Jupiter in your 2nd house is trying to give you growth. This opposition, though, is coming from Venus to Saturn in your 12th house, and the 12th house has to do with our own place that we go to when we are alone. And so what I'm really seeing this aspect being about is that even though the universe is trying to bless you and trying to like grow you and trying to give you attention and trying to give you money and trying to give you blessings and good relationships, and it's like the universe is trying to do all these things for you, but yet there's Saturn over there in your 12th house, and it's kind of like keeping you small because you're having like these limited beliefs, or you're not allowing the messages from your spirit allies to get through to you. It's like you're closing off your mind to the things that could be possible for you if only you would just open up to them and say yes, and shift your your limited beliefs about what is and is not possible for you. So I really want to encourage you, Pisces rising, that the sky is the limit. And you really, really, really need to analyze these beliefs, because this is like a critical time where the universe is like seriously trying to like throw so much goodness at you, and you are the only one that is potentially holding you back. So if you're not seeing growth happening where you want it to be happening, if you're not seeing relationships blossom, if you're not seeing yourself getting the attention that you deserve and that you've been working hard for, I really want to encourage you to take a look at yourself and where your limiting beliefs are, because that is the only thing in the sky right now that is indicating is holding you back. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this was a really helpful video. Don't forget to comment down below which things you have affirmed to claim for yourself so that you can reference it later. And if you like this video, go ahead and hit like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.